Hey guys, we're here with the final episode of the Taste of Ellsworth event sponsored by the Heart of Ellsworth. Today we're at Airline Brewing Company where we're here to get the ultimate English pub experience. Hello Gary, you are the owner of Airline Brewing Company. So we're going to start off with the building because you walk in and it's gorgeous in here. I like the whole environment of it. So can you tell us a little bit about the building before you get into the actual business of it?
Yeah, so let me tell you a bit of the backstory. So, my wife and I had done a lot of traveling in our time. I'm obviously from the UK. We were living in Texas, and we were ready for a change of lifestyle. And we'd always, aspired to have a pub. So we basically came up here and we moved to Maine to be near family, and we built a brewery. And then once the brewery got going, we really needed to establish a pub.
Right.
So we spent probably 15 years planning this. So 10 years doing the hard graft of going around pubs in the UK, trying to figure out which we liked and which we didn't like. And then so there was a number that stuck out in our mind. Specifically, there was the Red Lion off Jermyn Street in London, a classic Fuller's pub. Very similar to this. We used to go there quite a lot when we were going through the UK. And then a second pub, the Old Ship, which is a family favourite. That's in a place called Sea Houses in Northumberland. And we used to go there, and that is like one of the best pubs on the planet. You'll see it's all traditional, it's fifth generation family, it's a thing of beauty. So what we're trying to do is incorporate the best of both of them. A small traditional pub and then a town pub. And this is what we came up with. So we brought over a whole pile of photographs and sketches and memorabilia, and then got with local artisans and drew it up and then started building it. So everything you see around here is from the original theme. So Sharon, my wife, got all of these paintings with our kids on a trip through London several years ago. They're all 1800s. The Toby jugs and the plates are all family heirlooms from friends and family. All the fixtures and fittings, be it the horseshoes in the corner. The clock is from Old Peculiar, from Theakston Brewery in North Yorkshire. Again, a classic old brewery. So that's really the backdrop. It was something we always wanted, and we wanted to make it feel like what I was used to back at home. And to me, what has always survived through many generations of highs and lows, of bankruptcies and hard times, is just a traditional small English pub. Very efficient, very compact, very cozy, built for the community, enabling everybody to socialise together. And quite frankly, do what people need. They need to be around people.
Right.
And if what we've been through in the last year has not taught us one thing, it's that people need people, and they need to talk, they need to be able to socialise, and just get out there and say high things and low things, tell jokes and all the rest. So that was the model, and that's why it's here.
Right. So, okay. So did you just decide, obviously the family was a decision to come up to Maine. Was there just something that wasn't mashing in Texas for a pub there?
Well, I'm a fat old boy. I'm used to sort of like Northern Hemisphere. I like the cold weather. It's a case of anything over about 45 degrees and I'm sweating. So it was a case of, whilst Texas was great and loved the time there, I really needed something colder.
Right.
And basically Maine is as close as you can get to the UK, but staying in America. So it suited all of those criteria.
Pretty interesting. I never thought about the similarities between the environment.
And it is amazing. The culture that you get here locally in these small villages and towns is just the same as Northern England. Same sense of humor, same sense of symbiosis between all of the different businesses and individuals helping each other out and working towards a common goal.
That's reassuring for the environment we got going here. So there's a sense of community of what you provide for Ellsworth. I think that's obviously the highlight of the Taste of Ellsworth, is to see what each of these restaurants and organizations here in downtown Ellsworth provide to the community. Have you noticed there probably was a slight difference when COVID first hit. You notice a big difference now in the community?
I'm a firm advocate of differences in society and people, and I believe in the variety of different restaurants, different cultures, different environments, and I think we went through, a little bit of soul searching with COVID, and a lot of people, tried to reflect on what was important to them and what was not. And I think, what we've seen is a lot of local people have strived to support the local businesses. So, our local clientele have really gone out of their way to help support us.
Right.
Just being regular, being welcome, inviting other people in. And all of the businesses have worked together. And it's a case of, in today's society where they think everything is cutthroat, it isn't. Quite frankly, most people realize that they need a community to survive. They need options.
Agreed.
And, we need people to be able to come down to downtown Ellsworth and have multiple options, be it lunch or a dinner or breakfast, be it a Thai dish, Irish dish, traditional Mexican, English, and basically, cope with the needs of many. So I think, many have struggled through COVID, but I think we will all come out stronger and better for it in terms of a local community.
Yeah, it's always good to hear, especially with, we've been to this is our sixth place now, and that seems to be the common trend, is everybody believes that even though the pandemic hit, they're going to come out stronger from it, which is a good thing.
Yes.
So now to address the elephant in the room, what is the difference between an English pub and an Irish pub?
So, quite frankly, if you look at the true sense of an Irish pub in Ireland versus an English pub, there are three real styles of pub in England. There is a town pub, which is similar to this. There's a country pub, which tends to be more rural, more spacious. And then a seaside tourist pub, which tends to be very small, packed with ornaments, and very focused on the local experience.
Right.
Again, if you go to Ireland, there are three tiers. If you go to Dublin, it's going to feel very different to County Cork or Galway or whatever else. But it tends to be the furniture tends to be a little bit more like your sitting room in an English pub. And there tends to be a little bit more entertainment in terms of music and environment in an Irish pub, as a comparison between the two.
Right.
And that's it. So that was pretty well it boils down to, is just like a little bit more space, slightly different furniture, and then normally the entertainment side of things.
So there's two locations for Airline Brewing, right? You've
Correct.
got the bar here in
Yes, we've got the pub here, and then the brewery up in Amherst.
And then we visited the brewery before, and you guys had pool tables and stuff there. So games, so typical, what do you think for games?
Yes. So the brewery is built more around the country style theme. So to me, it's more spacious and it's more encompassing in terms of what you can do in there. But it's built more like a main lodge. So if you look at where you go to an English pub, it would tend to be stone. It's wood panelled. It's rough cut boards.
Right.
So it's more, to me, it's a balance between a spacious rural location with things to do. Because imagine here, people tend to be coming out for lunch and trying to get through, whereas up there they're going for several hours and having a break and want a bit of a longer experience.
Right. So with that, this is sort of an interest of mine, is the brewing process something that's typical of pubs, or did that something you found an interest in that while you were coming up with the idea for a pub?
It was, when we came here, we'd always wanted to do the pub, but at that point there was a real trend towards microbreweries and breweries, and we felt, well, now was as good a time as any to do that, and it also certainly gave you the flexibility. So we have low ABV drinkable beers in line with an English pub. You don't have high alcohol content beers there, because the whole idea is you go to a pub, you can have a few beers and still be in a very good condition to enjoy the rest of the day.
Right, you're not getting plastered.
No.
Okay.
Exactly. So there's not very many of those beers out there and about. So we felt that it would be necessary to have the brewery to enable us to do the beers that were correct to theme. And equally, if you see by the bar, we have the cast tap handles, that's real ale, and we actually ferment that and brew that here. So we pre-make it at the brewery, bring it down here to ferment, so that then we serve there. So that's hundreds of years old, traditional. You can't really get that anywhere else around. We're the largest producer of cask ale in New England. So it's a case of, without the brewery, we couldn't do that, nor could we be an authentic English pub in, a downtown environment.
So we have ale royalty here. What we got going on here? New England ale royalty.
Yes.
So I noticed one thing on the website, looking at the menu of the actual beers. One thing that I haven't seen in a lot of other like breweries or pubs or bars that I've been to, and I've traveled a lot because I was in the military for a little bit, is the IBC. I had to actually look up what IBC was because I had no idea.
IBUs.
Or IBUs. Sorry.
IBUs, yes.
IBUs. I had to look it up, but it
Yes.
was like the International Bitterness Unit, and I
Yes.
didn't realize that was like a flavor that you had to quantify somehow. And it's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it helps people understand what they're drinking. You know, how hoppy it is. Now, there are many other factors that go into understanding the bitterness, but it's a good indicator of the bitterness of the beer.
I thought that was pretty cool because you see going through the menu on the website, it's like the APV or ABV, and then you've got the IBUs, and you're like, well, what's the difference? And I was like, oh, okay. Well,
Yes.
I had to look it up. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's very interesting when you look at an Indian Pale Ale, obviously a classic beer that was brewed in the UK, shipped to India, and then obviously the hops preserved it, which was, you know, the genesis of Indian Pale Ale. Now that's a bitter beer. If you come over here and have a New England IPA, its actual IBU is not necessarily that high because there's a very different process here used where they dry hop it, so you get a lot of the floral and the taste come out of it rather than the bitterness. So again, it's quite a new evolution to a very old theme that, you know, plays into that sort of measurement.
That's awesome. Okay, so I've been looking at the logo on your shirt, and here, can we talk about the logo a little bit?
Sure.
That's kind of cool.
Yes. So we bought the mill in Amherst. It was originally Paul Bunyan Furniture. It was an old mill, made furniture for all through this area. You know, unfortunately the family had passed away and had been sitting there idle. And that's one of the core themes of, you know, English pubs is to reuse buildings. You don't get to always build a new building.
Right.
So it's repurposing churches or town halls or whatever else. So in our case, it was a furniture mill. So the road is called the Airline, so Route 9 is the Airline, so that's where the name Airline came from. And then the saw blade represents the saws that we had throughout the facility when we purchased it, that we felt, right, well, that was in keeping. Because, you know, most of the people who live around the brewery on the Airline have family members who work there. And, you know, that's another part of, you know, the importance of the community is when somebody says, hey, yes, you know, my uncle or my grandfather used to work here, and he comes to tell stories, and they're incredibly proud of the transformation of the building to a new purpose that's vibrant and full of life.
Right.
You know, we've been told dozens and dozens of times how the former owner, Mr. Kazlaskis, would have loved what had happened to the facility.
That's really cool that you didn't just try to get rid of the heritage of the building and you incorporated it into your business, and that's something you don't see as frequently as I would like personally.
Yes, and you know, when you go there, you'll see that there's decorations over the walls, and that's all of the tooling and the equipment that we found on the facility that we kept for, well, 7 years. And then have slowly but surely decorated the whole facility to make it feel more like, you know, an English pub where you do get that, you know, sort of like paraphernalia around the facility that is just points of interest.
So you had anybody come in that used to work, I don't know how long ago did the mill shut down?
I believe the mill shut down in the 80s.
Okay.
But it's a, we've had dozens and dozens of people come through.
Oh, so you had like former employees? Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
that's
yes.
awesome. They probably were able to tell you exactly what they were doing.
No, it's normally when we get, you know, there's certain days during, you know, the year where we all get together as a local group.
Right.
And all the old stories come out and they tell war wounds about this instrument or that instrument. And oh yes,
that's pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Okay, so now let's get to the actual topics, which is the beer and food.
Yes.
You have changing beers depending on the season. I think I was reading that on the website.
Yes.
And then, so let's go with what you're drinking now.
Yes. I'm actually drinking a cask ale, so a real ale, so handcrafted, cellar-aged brown porter, so a traditional porter from the London docks. It's you know, it's a mix between a brown ale and a porter, so it's not as hoppy as many beers over here. The cask ale gives it natural carbonation. so it is very smooth and easy to drink. You don't get full of wind. As far as the taste goes, it's a classic low malt beer, but with like strong roast flavors. So
I'm assuming that would be one of your favorites.
I've drunk a few of them in my time. Yeah, I tend to lean towards this. So an oatmeal stout is probably my go-to beer. So back to the old adage, when in doubt, do a stout. Followed by a brown porter, then probably a Scottish export would be the normal. Most of which we carry on the taps. Pub ale is a true North England bitter. We actually brewed it with a brewery out of Newcastle, Hadrian's Border Brewing, great friends of ours who, we took our brewer over there and trained him with them at their facility, and then they came over and brewed the beer with us over here.
That's really cool.
So we can say it's a full authentic English bitter. So, when I was talking before about going to the ship, I go to the ship and I drink a pint of Farne Island, which is, quite frankly, what we try to do here is when we have our pub ale is to try and be as good as them.
That's actually really cool. That's awesome. Okay, so do you see a lot of people who go more towards like the IPA when they walk in, or do you see a trend?
No, we see people, when we first started, IPAs were very popular. But what we found is that there's an awful lot of people who've done military service in this part of the world. There's an awful lot of people who've traveled, knowledgeable about the world, and they all have fond memories of going to pubs in the UK. So when they come in here, it's like great. So they tend to instantly go and try things that they can't get elsewhere. So, we ran a couple of years without any IPA on the board at all, and without any complaint whatsoever, and people were quite willing to try the differences. So it tends to be a broad selection. The red ale is by far our most popular. Again, it's just a classic malt-forward red ale, very balanced. We sell lots of it. Scottish export is popular. That's rated in the top 20 in the world. It's very, very popular.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Yes. Yeah, and many people haven't, but that's the beauty of coming here. Many people who've been to sort of like Scotland can tell tales of going down Edinburgh and drinking a pint of McEwan Scottish export, and that's what we try to give them.
So there's a lot of culture when it comes to walking into a pub and trying the various.
Yes, and we've tried to make that simple for our customers in terms of we keep the names. So quite frankly, 95% of our beer are exactly what they are. So a red ale is a red ale, a brown porter is a brown porter, an oatmeal stout is an oatmeal stout. There's no crazy names. And then on our cans, we keep the nationality of the beer, so the flag. So we have the St. Patrick's Cross for the red ale, we have St. Andrew's Cross for the Scottish export, St. George's for the brown porter. So it's very distinctive of, right, that's the country it comes from. And then as we did more of the old world beers through Europe, we continued the same themes with flags from Goslar, from parts of Germany, Bavaria. So again, you get a sense of right where you're drinking around the world.
Right.
Which is, to me, what a pub is. It's a community, it's friends, it's families, it's different cultures, and that should be represented in the beer as well.
That's awesome. Oh, it's just really cool that you've done multiple things to incorporate the various cultures between the heritage of your brewing building and just the pub itself having various beers, not trying to take away from where it came from or what it's done. That's all it's very, very honorable of you, and I enjoy it.
Well, to me, it's all about embracing the differences and bringing it all together for everybody to enjoy.
So with the food aspect of it, what is a traditional, I guess, UK pub food?
That was one of the most challenging things, was to sort of like try and nail down a pub menu. Because to me, what we were not wanting to do was to do an English pub menu. We wanted to do a pub menu. And the difference there is that you're going to get comfort food.
Right.
And some of it should be traditional English, but then it should be traditionally interesting and diverse. So as the beers come from different parts of the world, so should the food. So, what we go back to the British heritage with steak and ale pie, bangers and mash, which for those who don't know that's a sausage. I mean, it's a great meal, very traditional. In fact, we get the sausages from Ireland, so it's fully authentic. And then we do toasties, which again is, if you go to a pub in England, you're going to get. So, a roast beef, horseradish, nice, simple, easy sandwich for lunch, where you can go down, you can have a drink or no drink, it's totally up to you, but feel as though you go out and have a nice time.
Right.
And then we push further afield, so then we tend to do, we normally carry a curry, which yields back to, virtually every pub in the UK will have a curry, given our past in India. More recent ones, we brought on jambalaya because we felt that was another great Cajun culture to bring to the pub that goes down really well.
Right.
Right now we've got a crab mac pie.
It's the New England right there.
There you go. So it's a case of it's about having things from different places that all fit together.
Right.
And just to give you that diverse experience.
So what's your favorite in here?
I'm a steak and ale pie man. Okay. Steak and ale pie with a pint of stout.
Okay.
Hence my slender figure.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, bangers and mash is what I think of whenever you think of just walking into a pub and ordering something, which is, another thing is like fish and chips, but I don't know how authentic that is. It's just another association I make.
Yes, and that's what we do at the brewery. At the brewery we carry fish and chips, but at the brewery I do fish and poutine. Again, bringing the Canadian influence down. Well, that's a killer. People love that.
Jeez, that's a heavy meal right there, though.
And
You'll be sitting.
Oh yes, but a Friday date night is perfect.
Hang out with everybody.
Yes. Yeah, and then we have other things. The Reuben to me is more of a new world sort of dish, although. People tend to question its heritage. To me, it's truly a new world dish that you would not normally see in a UK pub, but it's a great meal for a pub.
It's pretty interesting because that's one of my favorite sandwiches. I didn't know it was there's no real, I guess not. I don't want to say not real authenticity, but I didn't realize you wouldn't see that frequently in the UK.
So to me, it's about having great comfort food that people would just enjoy, that is diverse, that's not nothing fancy. It's just meant to be good old, comfort food for afternoon dinner.
Well, I got one last question for you. Where do you see Airline going? After all of this shenanigans have cleared up and we're back to normal.
This is what we want to be. Mm-hmm. We did not sign up for world domination. We're not looking to be the biggest. We're just looking to be this. We just wanted to be a local pub, local brewery, provide good service, a good experience, great staff, and just be small and good. So quite frankly, our goal is just to, quite frankly, look after our staff, look after our customers, keep it like it is, and just try to keep doing what we do.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Pretty well.
It's working for you. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So we just had an amazing lunch with Gary and Sharon, and now we're going to try some of the pub food that we ordered. I got the crab mac and cheese pie with mashed potatoes and peas. Wayne got the Reuben, as well as the
banger and mash.
There you go.
And the steak and ale pie.
And my mom, who you can't see, ordered her wine because she had to have her wine, and the crab mac and cheese pie as well. So.
Yes, and Gary spoiled me with all the beers, which
he
was
did.
awesome.
He just kept them coming. It was so great.
He's like, yeah, you could try this, try this, try this. I'm like, yes.
I think my favorite that I tasted was the cherry stout.
The Clada.
The Clada stout.
Chocolate cherry stout is delicious.
Chocolate cherry.
She's being corrected by the bartender.
I am.
Yep.
Oops. I knew I was going to butcher something.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Good.
You're good.
All right.
So
let's try it out. Let's dig in.
let's try your crab mac first. That's all you.
Oh, we're trying my dish.
Yep.
Not I'm trying my
Nope,
dish.
it's a we. Did you do your gravy for the?
Yeah, in a second. I want to try this without the sauce.
Give you a box if you need, or take your
Look
time.
at that. So it's still steamy. It's crunchy.
they
I don't
got-
know if you heard the
yeah, they got it
crunch when
right.
What?
Well, they got it right because like the crab mac. Remember my issue was the textures.
Yes, you have the crunchiness on the outside with the crust, and then the inside is just.
Just plain old crab and macaroni and cheese is not good to me because they don't have the textures.
That's good.
I'll try it.
It's a different take on mac and cheese, but I like it. I like the crustiness on the outside. And it's not too cheesy. So we went to a place where it was just a little bit of mac and a whole lot of cheese. But this, perfect ratio. And like the crab, the flavor of the crab is subtle. It's not like overpowering. You still get that mac and cheese taste with that subtle crab flavor.
All right, let's try this banger and mash. Oh, do your mash first. We don't even have to try each other's mash. I can eat my own mash.
You can. Can you eat mash with a fork or a knife?
Ooh. I will try. I'm just kidding. Can I get another fork, please? Sorry. Thank you, ma'am.
That gravy's kind of beer-esque.
Beer-esque gravy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Is there beer in the gravy? Is there beer in the gravy? Or am I just making that up?
I think you're making it up. Brown ale gravy.
Ah, see? I was right. Look at that. I know my food. That is good.
That is really good.
But it's not like, you're pouring a whole beer on your mashed potatoes. It's like gravy with a hint of beer.
It's good, yeah?
Yeah.
It's very good.
Is that mapley? Did I make that up?
Let's see if she made it up.
Last time I nailed it.
It doesn't say. Traditional UK banger served over a bed of mashed potatoes, peas, and carrots. But this is the steak and ale pie, which means there should be some ale tasting to it.
You can hear, I don't know if you could hear it, but the crunch on the crust. Oh man. That was a good bite. I saw the carrot, I saw the meat.
I was gonna give it to you, but it was too good to give to you.
Oh, rude. I should be given the best. I don't see a carrot in there.
It's very good.
Oh,
All the beers here are good.
that was really good.
So we got one more thing to try. They got it right. They made a Reuben on the marble rye. The corned beef is homemade. The sauerkraut, homemade, I think they said. Don't want to lie to you guys.
I don't know, but I know that like Sharon said, that corned beef, they do that all themselves.
Yep. So I'm pretty excited about this. So we're
Yes.
gonna try this.
It looks good.
Had a burp, sorry.
How is it? He's kind of like the Reuben connoisseur, if that's a real job.
It is. I just made it
Is
up.
it? Oh.
This is really good, actually. So we tried everything. We had appetizers. So we had an amazing lunch with Sharon and Gary. And before this, we actually had appetizers. We got a full meal here. They have all sorts of comfort foods, which is kind of important. I like the sense of community that Gary and Sharon are trying to establish here, which is awesome. They take the heritage of their actual brewing building and they incorporate the different alcohols from different parts of the world or different brews, which is awesome as well as just the food is amazing. I can't complain about it. So with that said, we're going to close this out. We'd like to thank the Heart of Ellsworth and Wichita Savings Bank for allowing us to participate in the Taste of Ellsworth digital event. Hopefully you guys, if you're in the area of downtown Ellsworth on Main Street, you stop by here and say hello, because our bartender is also awesome. She's back there in the corner. Until next time, you guys should like, subscribe, or do what you want, because I'm not your dad. Okay, bye.
Bye.